In today's video I show you how I made this aesthetic photography website fully built with AI tools. I show you the full process from creating the visuals in Higgsfield to building the website with Claude's newest model, Opus 4.7. I share the full prompts and workflow that I use to add the elegant parallax scroll effects and subtle loading animations to make the website go from generic AI to a unique professional looking site. And make sure to stick around to the end as I prepared a small free gift for you. So the concept is a minimalistic one-page site with a focus on photography. And it can be used perfectly to showcase design work or photography projects, for example. And I built it with a fictive person in mind, AI creative Robert Stanley. And the first thing that I want the visitor to see is a full screen hero banner playing a video reel, and I want the visuals to take center stage here. Then right after the hero banner I want a large quote of some sort, something that defines the creative. And then the main section, which is an overview of some of Robert's featured work. And this is going to be a playful off-grid photo gallery with a parallax scroll effect. Then this is followed by an About Me section, and I end the page with a subtle call to action to get in touch for projects. And the app that I'm using for this wireframe is one of my free to use apps, which you can find on my website aiplayfield.com. So now that I have a clear idea for the website layout, I want to prepare the visuals. And if you have seen my other videos, you may know that I like to work with something that I call a style prompt. And this is a partial prompt that I add to the end of each prompt, and it describes the lighting and the overall mood to keep a consistent and unique look. So in this case it gives a muted look with beautiful sage green undertones, and I personally really like that background haze combined with the heavy lens bloom. And this is why the images have that beautiful soft look. I use Higgsfield for generating the visuals, as I can create multiple images at once and at a 4K resolution. I select Nano Banana as the image model, and then I briefly describe what I have in mind and paste in the style prompt. And it's as easy as that to generate unique images with a consistent look and feel. For the videos I use Cinema Studio, also in Higgsfield. And I prefer using the older version 2.5 because it allows me to add a start and an end frame. And I can also choose from more camera movement presets, and it consumes 8 times less credits than the newer versions. And my prompts for generating videos are very short. So here I only describe that the model slowly turns around and walks away from the camera. And this doesn't have to be comprehensive because the selected camera movement preset does everything else. The final step is to tie the clips together in a video editor, and you can use any video editor for this because the only thing that I do is combining the clips in a single sequence. And once I'm done, I export it as a MP4 file. I also generated a short video of Robert for the About Me section, and I created a perfect loop without any awkward jump cuts by uploading the exact same image as a starting frame and an end frame. And this ensures that the video starts and ends with the same frame and can loop seamlessly. With the visuals ready, I start preparing things for the website. First I add a new project folder, and I add this folder to a dedicated folder for all my vibecoding projects on Dropbox, but this can just as easily be on your desktop. And within this main project folder I add another folder to store all the visuals that I just created, and this keeps things organized and allows me to easily refer to the visuals when I start prompting in Claude. So next I open up Claude, and I'm on the $20 a month Pro plan, and I use Claude directly in the Mac app. Then I paste in the first prompt, and this basically sets things up for the project. So it loads the fonts, the colors, and it prepares the animations for the website. And I ask it for one of my favorite font combinations for web design, which are the more classic looking sans serif font for headings, paired with the modern Inter for the body text as a counterweight. And mentioning this early in the project ensures that I start with the right styling for the heading and the paragraph text, and it won't load fonts that I won't use anyway. And setting up your project with this prompt may be a bit overkill for a one-page portfolio site, but it is good practice to think about your project and how you want to set up your website before you start prompting right away. Plus, the main reason that I work this way is because I like to build my pages section by section. And I see a lot of people on YouTube try to one-shot a website, and I think that this is the main difference between getting another AI-looking website or a fully customized one. So once the project is set up, I'll follow a simple pattern to build the website. I add a section, I'll adjust the section till I'm happy with it, and then I move on to the next section. And building the website section by section gives the AI model a better understanding of what I like and what I don't like, and it won't output a very generic AI looking website as I take full control over the layout. In this next prompt I add the hero section with the navigation bar. And I added 2 PNG files with simple text logos, a black and a white version, and a video for the hero banner. And to give this site a more luxurious style, I prompt for a full white loading screen with a black logo which will slowly fade out. And while the loading screen fades out, the logo stays in place but then turns white and sits on top of the video. I describe a simple navigation bar and ask Claude to compress the video to a WebM file to maintain fast loading speeds. This really shows how intelligent Opus 4.7 is. It instantly downloads a video converter and it reduces the file size for me. And the video is still going to slow the website down a bit, but it will be significantly better. Plus I added that elegant loading screen to buy even more time for the video to load. And the first result is actually what I asked for, and it nailed the loading transition perfectly. But I see that I still have to make some tweaks, like adjusting the size of the logos, for example. And yeah, that already looks much better. Oh, and I'm looking at the website in the browser, by the way, and not in Claude's preview panel to get a full screen preview of the website. And you can do this by asking Claude Code to run the site on the server and then visit the localhost URL it provides. So next I add the second section, the one with the quote, and I instruct it to come up with a quote that feels personal, and I ask Claude to gently animate the text. And I again tweak the results slightly by adjusting the max width and the font size. And this looks perfect, exactly as I had in mind. Okay, for the next section I want Claude to come up with a playful way to add a gallery of images, and I give it a list of images that I want included and a reference image that I found online. So I ask for lots of white space because I want a parallax scroll effect, and a parallax scroll effect is when elements on the screen move at different speeds while you scroll. So the images need breathing space to be able to move up and down without overlapping each other. And this result looks beautiful. I really like the amount of white space, which feels like my personal design style, and I like how subtle that parallax scroll effect is too. And this is something that can quickly become too much and distract the viewer from the photos. The only thing is that the fourth image looks a bit off, so I ask it to place it a bit more to the left and add some breathing room underneath. Oh, and also the loading effects of the images slowly fading in feels a bit too clunky, so I ask it to slow it down and make it more elegant. And that looks much better now. This is really starting to come together. And the final part of the website is much simpler, so I ask for an About section with a looping video on the left and 2 short paragraphs about who Robert is on the right. And I also prompt for a contact section with a soft invitation for people to reach out, and I want a simple copyright footer. I didn't mention anything about compressing the video, but it did it by itself because I mentioned this in a previous prompt, and this is a clear example of the advantage of building in sections and the AI model remembering my preferences. Now that I've finished building the sections, I want to make the website fully responsive. But making a website responsive often breaks things in my experience, so this is a good time to take a moment and talk about how you can store your work. So I use GitHub to store my website, and GitHub allows you to revert back to previous versions of your project or create additional versions. And that way you can test things out without breaking anything. To set up GitHub, you first have to create a free account on the GitHub website. And then in Claude you can open your settings and search for connectors in the sidebar, and then add the GitHub integration. So I already connected it, but if this is your first time it will ask you to log in. And when you connected your account you can prompt to push your project to a new GitHub repository, and this will store your project on your GitHub account, and you can now always come back to this state or save a new state if you need to. And now that I've saved the website, I make it fully responsive. And I prompt for a hamburger icon, and I mentioned to keep the full screen hero video. And I also ask it to remove the parallax effect on mobile and instead show the images in a single column. And this may be a less interesting gallery style, but it is the more user-friendly option for mobile. For the final prompt, I have a list with finishing touches. And these are small things that I noticed while building the site, like a clunky scroll animation and spelling mistakes and the corner radius of the images. And I also want a custom cursor and a semi-transparent and blurred navigation bar to really make the website feel polished. And then I end the prompt by asking for a final check to make sure that everything is clean and it's fully ready to go. And here's the end result, a unique website fully built with AI. A beautifully animated hero section, followed by lots of white space and elegant scroll effects. And that new blurry bar and custom cursor are now also in place. So now that the website is finished, you can deploy it as a live site so that others can actually visit it. And for this you need a domain name and a hosting service. And I recommend a site like Vercel to host your website. And Vercel can work directly with your projects on GitHub. So once connected, you can update your project on GitHub by prompting in Claude, just like I did in this video, and it will automatically update on Vercel. If you want to take it even further and sell your website to a client, then you need some sort of CMS. And that way the client can adjust the site in a user-friendly environment and not in Claude where they can accidentally break things. So in that case, I recommend checking out Sanity. This is a tool that allows you to create a custom CMS so your clients can easily adjust the contents of your website. And both Vercel and Sanity have connectors inside Claude, so you can manage everything by prompting directly within Claude. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I would love to hear your thoughts on my process or suggestions for any future videos that you may have. And I'll make sure to read and reply to all comments. And as a thank you for watching today's video, I added all prompts, visuals and the actual site as a free download link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.